Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone has having a wonderful Monday. Let's just wait a little bit to see if Gabriel and Lionel are able to us. Let's give them a few moments. Meanwhile, we know it's been a while, but well, some things are a little bit out of control. So 2 weeks ago, we decided to take a weekend off. We had to take a little bit of a break for ourselves. And then, well, I don't know if you're up to speed with what happened over here in Portugal, but last week we had a major power outage. Let's see. I think that we have over here Lionel. Let's see if he's able to join me. Okay, and I think we have Gabriel here as well. It's getting a little bit tricky. Hmm. Okay. I'm seeing that Lionel is being added to the call, to the podcast. And then Gabriel. Hmm. Ed. No, connection failed with Lionel. And then let's see. Wait, I think we have Lionel over here.
Good evening.
Good evening. And let's see if we can add Gabriel.
Well,
As always, Facebook is giving us this hard time.
Gabriel is commenting over there, but yes, Facebook is giving us some issues over here. Well, I'm having some issues as well without internet connection at home for technical reasons from the provider. So using mobile here directly from the van, but hope that everybody hears me sound and clear. So
Yep. Everything is working fine on your end.
well,
It's just
yeah.
Gabriel. Well, let's see if he's able to join us or not. It's
Yes,
always a little bit
Facebook
challenging.
is having a few issues. But
Yeah.
well, anyway, how have you been, Sergio?
Well, dealing with some issues of my own as well, but well, as we announced a few minutes ago on the live for today, that the season has begun.
Oh yeah.
Especially after Easter, that's when we basically enter the high season or even the peak season in some instances over here. So I've been doing some interesting tours, to say the least, and not the cookie cutter tour. So it's definitely been interesting, and these have been some interesting couple of days, and in fact, I actually hosted some people on more than one specific occasion, so multiple days with the same couple, and
Mhm.
that opened up a lot of possibilities, and we did plenty of different things. And after knowing those people for a day or two, it's interesting because we can actually make some interesting suggestions, more fine-tuned to their preferences. And they actually ended up enjoying a lot the trips that we had together.
Oh,
So
that's
the
great.
gang is all
Well,
here.
I think we have Gabriel. Yes.
Hello,
Yeah,
everyone.
Oh well, here you are.
yep,
I I,
we're a
I thought we were struggling with another outage.
yeah.
Oh well,
No, that was last week.
Okay,
yeah, that was
Last
last week.
okay. So
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
and
last week
exactly
for me the
exactly a week
power.
ago, I was driving to the top of the hill trying to find some cell service because well, all the cell towers were running out of power, so I needed to drive to the top of the hill and kind of wave the phone to try to get service. So it was an interesting day.
Well, fortunately for me over here, I actually have a decently sized power bank, which was enough to power the router for basically for the entire duration of the outage. So I was able to stay connected the whole time, but I could only just see and hear the news. I could not call anyone. I was out of self-service, so it was a little bit challenging, and especially because everything over here at home runs on electricity. Well, it was a little bit challenging to prepare a dinner or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So we had to eat something cold, sandwiches and whatnot. But well, hopefully we those days are behind us. Let's just hope that we don't have such a massive power outage anytime soon. And well, I think we can kick off the things that we have over here today
Exactly, the
because
topic. Yeah.
Gabriel actually posted something very interesting that we were discussing, and Lionel and I were making a bit of an introduction to it, where we have basically the beginning of the season, which for us over here in Portugal, it's actually very traditional that the peak season basically begins around Easter or right after Easter. So that's when we start seeing the big increase in touristic activity over here in the country. And now more than ever, especially because we are entering the high season, it's actually important to note that, and it's always good to remember that traveling is actually a very intimate and a very personal experience. And there are for people traveling for the first time in Portugal. Obviously, we all have our things that usually recommend people to see. For example, in Porto, you go and see if it's your first time in Porto you go to see those big ticket items like the Clérigos Tower, the Lelo Bookstore, the Cathedral in Porto, even Douro Valley, for example, can be something that you can do on a first trip if you don't know what to expect. And it's a very nice and safe experience. But for people coming over here, there's obviously going to be a niche that they want to see what is common to see, the big attractions. But then this is Portugal Unplugged, and so we like to talk about the things that no one else is talking. So I think I'm going to throw the ball to you. Let's start from the very south today with Gabriel, and I want to hear your thoughts about it. What do you have to say about the traveling? What can we see, and how would you cater? How would you create special itineraries for our guests?
Yes, well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Sergio, Lionel. Um, well, of course, the season started, and we've been noticing the past few weeks, even today. I went to very hot spots, Ponta da Piedade, Lagos, Carvoeiro, Algar Seco, and definitely I see nowadays way more people than 6, 7 years ago, or even 3, 4 years ago. And I also see way more a different way to travel. Nowadays, I can see way more rent cars. There are also more buses dropping people here and there. So in short, we have way more people visiting us. Let's say on the not the off season, but let's call the shoulder season. Actually, for me, it looks like the peak season, at least in the very hot spots like Lagos, Benagil, Carvoeiro, a bit everywhere. Even the other towns that they are not yet so trendy like Faro, Lolé, they are booming with tourists. So we have lots of tourists visiting us, and first of all, for sure, we are grateful for everyone who are coming to visit the country. Okay, so but then we are also very active on Facebook, and we see so many people making questions, bringing questions. Sometimes I notice people sharing their own experiences, and sometimes I don't agree with some things, sometimes I agree. But the thing is that many people, when sometimes they see these posts made by travelers who've been here maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 days, it doesn't matter. It looks like they wanna know more from the perspective of these travelers. So they ask for a itinerary, they ask for tips, for suggestions, and sometimes I think as a local, I can't stop thinking as a local and a seasonal professional, of course, I have a big a wide knowledge about the Algarve, in Portugal in general, but especially the Algarve. And sometimes I ask myself, so sometimes I post something, or sometimes it looks like people they don't pay attention or of what we locals we say, and then they follow all other random advisors because I don't know, maybe they look more trustable. I don't know. This is something that happens a lot. But the thing is, of course, there are many advices. Of course, there are many suggestions and tips, very well intentioned, and also very, very good ones. But many times, and this is what, for me, I need to address this. I really don't understand why people they trust so much on others' perspectives without sharing first who they are, what they like, what they want to do, what are their goals. It looks like sometimes people they really want to be followers of someone. Okay, so maybe I've been, let's say, in Sagres. Sagres, everyone knows, it's a very beautiful landscape, huge cliffs, known as the edge of the world. Absolutely amazing. Nowadays, it's a mecca for APs, camper vans, RVs, with, it's a very laid back place. And last week, I read someone saying, I drove there, it doesn't worth to go there. I mean, and then I see other people also, maybe I was thinking about going there, maybe it's not a good idea. Why not a good idea? Because you read that someone says don't go there, or like last week I also read and I have to bring this to the table. There was a lady, it doesn't matter, and she posted something about their own experience. And just look, she went for a boat tour to Benazil at midday, so by noon. So maybe the boat tour finished maybe at 2. And then she said, and then I went to Albufeira and I went to Tavira. Tavira doesn't worth to go there. There's not much to do there. Albufeira it doesn't worth to go there. And then I have to ask, I mean, I know all these places. I know Albufeira, I know the downsides, I know the highlights. I know Tavira, I know the downsides, I know the highlights. I just have to ask myself, and I ask people, why someone who spend maybe 1 hour in Tavira, 1 hour in Albufeira, they feel entitled, they are entitled to give their opinions. I get that. But I'm also entitled to ask why these people, they really think they are travel advisors. Because then I see other people, oh, but why? Why that? Why do you think like that? And then I think, but don't you see that this person went there 1 hour or so? So how can someone can give some good suggestions, some nice tips based on what? In a 1 hour experience, maybe she drove there, she parked the car, who knows where, maybe she walked around the corner, maybe she skipped the highlights, and then, well, she's an advisor too. I mean, like I said before, okay, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but when someone is doing research on travel groups, on Viator, whatever, I think this is what I do as a traveler. I think that asking local professionals, it's a good investment, because sometimes what looks very cheap, it becomes very expensive. And also, because, okay, maybe, okay, I'm not going to hire a professional because I don't have the budget. I don't want to spend, I don't know, 100 euros on a travel planning. I don't want to spend 300 euros or 200 or 400 euros in a day tour. So I'm going to do this on my own. Still legit, but we can't compare this. So I think when we visit a country, if we want to immerse ourselves, we need some help from someone. It could be a tour guides, it could be a travel local agents, or a good advisor. But a good advisor, it's not someone who went to visit Porto 2 nights. This is not a good advisor. I mean, it's not. So what I want to draw with people, I want people to get to know is, there's a chance to have a full depth experience in Portugal. And of course, you can also just go around, you have your car, you just take some photos here and there, still fine. But I'm not talking for the masses. I'm aware that the masses, they just want to do the things on their own. Most people, they are on the budget, I get that. But investing in a local guide is not wasting money. So, and then I can talk later about this. But for instance, I've been guiding tours since 2016, so for over 9 years. This past winter, I ran more tours than ever, even this week. Last week, I had people who told me, people with 70 years old, who told me, Gabriel, I've been in many countries, I had lots of guides. Man, you should run some stand-up comedy tours because we feel so happy along the day with your humor, with your historical insights, the way you share the storytelling. And we learn so many things that we would never learn. And we tried the fish rice, and we tried the beans with cuttlefish, and we tried the cataplana and the sauces and whatever. So, I mean, I'm not gonna stop myself selling as a tour guide because I know how important is to work with a tour guide or a travel agent. It's not vital. No, it's not. But it's a plus. It's like going to a McDonald's. I've been using this analogy a lot. I can go to McDonald's, I can get a burger with French fries and a Coca-Cola from, I don't know, from the machine there, and maybe I pay 10 euros. But if I want to go for a nice meal, maybe I'm going to pay 40. We can't compare this. It's totally different. So I'm talking for those who don't feel satisfied just to get a burger from McDonald's. Okay, sometimes I go to McDonald's too, don't get me wrong, but if you are looking for something more immersive, something with more content, we are here to help you. Of course we charge for that, of course we run a business, but we can really help you to find the best experience for you and some things you have no idea that you can enjoy in Portugal. And for sure, we are good examples, we three and many other guides, we can really help people to get the best or their vacation time. Because wandering around sometimes it's funny, but wasting time and just looking lost in the middle of the cities or the regions, I don't think this is what we want on a vacation. Okay, guys, so I think I already talked too much, but
No,
you know,
that's
when we
perfectly
start,
fine.
we just need to pull this and we just need to drop this out. So
Yeah.
I just hope that people they understand what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that all kind of all ways of travel is legit, but yes, the working with the tour guide, even though you have a car, so many times. Tomorrow I'm gonna run a tour with a couple, and they will guide and they will drive here to Albufeira. So it's a totally different experience. We are tour guides, we are not drivers. Okay, so
Yeah.
what we offer, and most of all, we are also Portuguese, so you can enjoy a Portuguese experience through a Portuguese. Okay, okay, Sergio Lunel, I'm gonna throw
So,
the ball
Well,
to you.
yeah,
I think I
you
just
actually,
done my part.
let me
yeah, you actually
let me.
touched.
Oh, please, Sergio, go ahead. Go ahead.
So you actually touched on a very interesting point, and I think this was going the same direction that Lionel is also going. But before passing the ball, I just want to point a few things over here. You mentioned tour guides are an investment, and we actually have over here in our audience. I don't know if Thomas is with us right now. Seeing he's a big advocate
Yeah,
ever since he
yeah,
booked a
exactly.
couple
It is.
of tour guides over here in the country that it's actually one of the best investments. And this kind of is coming from a person, I think I can say this, who works in real estate. So he knows the value of doing investments or of doing the right investments. So this is speaking volumes. It's not just us saying, these are the persons that we host on the tours who are saying. And we talk about hiring tour guides and working with someone as an investment. And this is actually something interesting because it goes to the point of an article that Lionel wrote a couple of weeks ago about why hiring a tour guide is an investment, how much time you spent over here in the country, how much you pay to be here in the country, and how can you maximize your time and your budget by being over here in the country, and how do tour guides help you with those situations as well. And so I'm actually going to pass the ball on to you, Lionel, because you are actually one of the persons that I know of, probably the person that I know that does the most research, the most
Mm-hmm.
exploration in order to provide fantastic and unforgettable tours to the customers. So a lot of people, they have no idea why tour guides are important because we do the legwork over here in the country, and sometimes we spend multiple hours, tens, hundreds of hours just scouting locations, trying different things, putting together itineraries, so that when the customers arrive to us, they have a very seamless experience. So, Lionel, you want to talk a little bit about it?
Well, yes, and I can go back to my background, and on the audience, there's also someone who worked with me or for whom I worked for in the past. And I can say that when I was working for a company, it was common that I would be assigned a tour to a place that I would not know so well, because we never know everything. But just to give the insight about what you're saying, it was somehow common for me to get a weekend off or to get a one or another day off on my own, with my wife, to go on a supposed little vacation to a certain place. But what I was actually doing, I was doing research, because I was having a tour in the next days or weeks with a specific location that I didn't know so well. So I was there scouting. I was there, checking the terrain. I was there researching to provide the best to my guests. And I do the same thing now that I own my company for 3.5 years. I do the same thing. So last week I was out. I was buzzing around some deeper Portugal areas, like Moura, Viz, Vidigueira, all those places. So I was pretty much scouting and exploring those places deeply. But then, what a lot of people don't notice, and the true value of a tour guide can be translated at what just happened to me on the last tours that I had with the exact same group, one on Saturday and one today. And on Saturday, I was doing a tour around Sintra, but the restaurant that I was planning to go for lunch, the whole area had a power outage. So, still on the aftermath of the power outage, there was a whole area where there was no electricity. I tried to call, no one was answering, but as I was driving to the area, in fact, I drove past the restaurant, and the owner, she was outside, and I rolled down the window with my guests in the van, and, okay, can you get us a table, please? And she said, well, we're out of power. There's no way to serve lunch. And I just did what every experienced guide would do. Okay, we have here a viewpoint. While you're getting your pictures, I'm going to sort the lunch issue. And I did a few phone calls and told them, okay, well, we have the table booked. Let's go for lunch to this other location, because they have a table for us. And I took them to what they classified as the best meal of their trip, and to another place that I know quite well, but was not exactly on route, so on the way I was planning. But okay, 15 minutes detour, and we ended up having lunch at a great spot. But then my guest started telling me, yeah, we would like to buy olive oil, but we like to support the local businesses, because we've seen olive oil on the supermarkets, but we would like to take home something authentic. And I just told them, okay, well, today's Saturday, they are not going to answer the phone. But Monday morning, as soon as we set sail on the road, as soon as we leave, on the first stop, I will make a phone call, and I'll check if it's possible to make this happen. And just 10 minutes away from the location that we were today, there's an olive oil museum with an olive oil shop, and that's where we went. And I'm pretty sure that from the thousands or even millions of people that visit that place nearby, very few know that there is an olive oil shop and museum, in fact, in local producers. So they are producers over there, and you can see the museum, can see the machinery, the explanation of the process, and of course buy some unique olive oil. So this is the knowledge that no travel blog, no social media hype, whatever, will bring, because some of these places are totally off the chart. And when we are presented with this kind of last minute request, or when the things happened not as we expected, we need to solve the things. And I've seen a lot of people driving around on their rental cars with a plan that could be quite well organized, but then the road is closed, you don't have access to the place. Something happened, and by any chance the place is closed that day. It's happening, by example, with some national monuments, some strikes on the holidays, and sometimes of extra hours or weekends, and people just get without knowing. They pretty much feel lost, and they are just wasting their time. Okay, people that are paying probably, and I'm going to throw a number in here, 600 or 700 euros per day, because it's the accommodation, it's the flight they book, it's everything they are paying. So it's costing them 600 or 700 euros per day just to be here. They are just losing their money because the plan or the self-made plan is not working, because there was a curveball that was thrown at them and they didn't know how to solve it. And this is where the local expertise makes a difference. So, in fact, we have that very, very peculiar saying that you find expensive to hire a professional, try making it with an amateur or making yourself. So, this is just, well, these were just some of the episodes that I have from these recent days, but I have plenty. And it's pretty much always a process of evolution, always a process of improving and getting better day after day. So that's why I invest a lot on research, and I will be pretty soon doing more recons, doing more research. I have some activities planned, more into the nature activities planned for next few weeks, and I need to do recons on the field. So I'm gonna take a full day, not doing tours, so not without any income, to go to do a recon for another activity that's gonna happen. So this is how we plan our things, because there's only one way to do the things, that it's doing them well done, doing them with quality. And I will always advocate this. I will always defend this. And by example, even today that I'm facing here some technical issues, there's always a solution. There's always a plan B. There's always a possibility to make things happen. But that's what we try to do. So we are here for that. And in fact, the self-made traveling or the self-traveling, self-exploration can be interesting, but very easily can go wrong or can cost a lot of money because of planning gone wrong. And it happened to me a long time ago. I traveled abroad and I made a booking to a hotel on the wrong date. So I ended up finding myself, well, to book the hotel again because, I made a mistake. So, as I usually say, sometimes we succeed, sometimes we learn, and it's with all the learning that we have day after day that we improve. So that's why we are constantly trying to make the best, or trying really to optimize everything. And about optimizing, as you mentioned, I've been writing a few articles about that. And I will keep going that way, because I see a lot of people thinking that they are just saving, but they end up being just wasting a lot of money, not planning the things quite well.
Yeah.
But well, I'm gonna throw the ball back to you, Sergio. You might have some insights to add as well. Then we'll check with Gabriel. And it seems like I've been monopolizing the time in here.
Don't
But
worry.
move on.
It's very nice to hear. So basically, I feel like I'm doing the work of the podcaster today, just
Yes,
introducing
you
the
are
topics
good. You are
and
good, man.
and
You're good.
having you talk a little bit about it. So now it's my time to just talk a little bit about it, and I'll try to keep it a little bit short, under 5 minutes. But you guys, yeah, both of you mentioned very interesting things, and I would say that one of you mentioned one of the portions. Each one of you mentioned one of the portions of the trifecta of a good travel experience, and I'm gonna be the one left to mention the final one. So, Gabriel, you mentioned the importance of having a person, a local, with you, a person that is knowledgeable. Lionel, you mentioned the planning aspect and the
Yeah.
scouting of the location. So you have the person person, you have the guide, then you have the location that you want to visit. But travel, this is something that I've been saying for quite a while now. Traveling is actually a very personal and intimate experience. And so the last piece of the puzzle is the person itself, the traveler, the tourist who is coming to Portugal. And it's very important for us as tour guides and as professionals that we learn how to listen and to try to steer the the customer to what he really wants to do, not just what he heard that he should do. And this is something that a lot of people they don't know because they when they start doing any type of planning, well, you start from the very basic stuff, from the assumptions, from what is common to do. And I've been telling this a lot of to a lot of people. I've been asking them this question: do you want to do that because that's something that you really want to do, or do you want to do that because you heard or someone told you that's something that you should do? Is that going to make you doing a certain thing, a certain tour, going to a certain place, having a certain experience? Is that going to be fulfilling for you, or is it, or you're just doing it to check it off the list and because you don't know what to do with the time that you have over here? And this is actually something very funny that happened over the course of last week. I was actually fortunate to host a couple for 3 days, 3 separate days. The first day we did something that was a little bit more regular. I just my Douro Valley tour, but over the course of that day, I got to know them a little bit better. They got to know me a little bit as well, and we actually connected really easily. Very nice people, very and we found out that our interests are were actually very much aligned. And so 2 days later, we were actually going to go from Porto down to Lisbon, and they wanted to do some stops along the way. One of the stops that was non-negotiable was Coimbra because the lady she wanted to see the library of the university. So very common thing to do. I also incentivize people to do that. And then I just jokingly asked her, so what do you feel about bats? And when I told her about the bats, her eyes illuminated and she's like, I love it. I love the bats. I love nature. And I told her, well, then you're in for a treat because the Coimbra Library, they actually have a colony of bats over there that are maintaining that they are helping maintaining the health of the book collection by eating the bugs and whatnot. So I gave her just a very tiny explanation about what she was going to see over there at the library. But when I saw her reaction and how her eyes lit up when I mentioned bats and nature, we actually started talking a little bit more the plans that we had for the next couple of days. And they decided that, okay, in Coimbra, they didn't need to spend a whole lot of time over there. They wanted the only thing that they were really adamant on seeing was the university. But then I also told them, well, since you're over there at the university and since you don't want to see anything else from the city, you might as well see the botanical garden because I could already tell that you guys love nature. And the botanical garden of Coimbra is one of those hidden gems that not a lot of people talk about because it's actually the most beautiful and largest botanical garden in the country. They absolutely loved it. For the afternoon, we actually had planned, well, not the afternoon, before doing Coimbra, we actually had planned to do Aveiro, but they also learned how to read me, and they saw that I was not overly fond of Aveiro, particularly when they used that description of calling it the Venice of Portugal. So when they said that, I knew what they were expecting. I knew that they were going to be disappointed when they got there. And so when they told me that, well, let's just not do Aveiro because there's probably something a little bit more interesting along the way. And because of my personal logistics, the way that I run the tours, because I use the EV, um, we have to stop in Fatima. But this was a Sunday. There was a huge crowd in Fatima, and they were also not very fond of crowds. And so what we decided to do instead, okay, we're going to pass in Fatima in 3 days again. So in 3 days, it's going to be a Wednesday. No one is going to be in Fatima on Wednesday. We can tour the religious site on Wednesday. But right now, I'm going to drop you off for lunch. And after lunch, we can head to a cool little spot nearby. We actually went to some caves. When I asked them how they felt about visiting some natural limestone caves, they were super excited about it. We spent a fantastic hour and a half doing a little bit of a wine tasting even. over there. Yeah, Vitor Paes carros a pilhas. Yeah, waiting a little bit until we all have to drive battery cars. Yeah, but um, we saw something, and when people talk about Fatima, they immediately associate it with, okay, religious center. I'm bored with religion. I don't want to see religion. But around Fatima, you have some fantastic caves. We
Mhm.
also went to Pia do Urso. We did the eco trail of Pia do Urso. A couple of hours later, the lady, she was trying to take note of everything on her phone, and she asked me, "What's that place with the very beautiful houses, the Enchanted Village that you called it?" And I told her, yeah, that's Pia do Urso, very beautiful location. And we actually had a blast. And one of the things that is very rewarding, it is for me, as I imagine it is for you guys, is when the reviews come in and the customers, they send you a text message 1 or 2 days afterwards and saying, this was probably the highlight
Yeah.
of our trip to Portugal.
Oh yeah.
You have made it very special. We couldn't have done it without you, and things like that. In fact, a couple of days later, after the trip down to Lisbon, I brought them back to the Douro Valley, and I told them, well, because we have already done the coastal route, let's do a little bit of a detour. It's going to be a little bit longer, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. And we went to the winery in the Down region, and they had a fantastic tasting, fantastic lunch tasting of down wines and the cheese, which I'm am yet to know of a person who doesn't like our Portuguese cheese over here. So fantastic experience overall. Next time around, oh, they were in Lisbon during the power outage, and so obviously a little bit of humor goes a long way. I told them, yeah, that Lisbon, well, even with power, it's not that special, and they agreed with me, and we laughed the whole way. So Lisbon with power, yeah, it doesn't make it a whole lot better. So yeah, it's very important. All of this to say that it's very important to have this connection with the customer. The cookie cutter tours, they just don't cut it for
No,
everyone. They might
no.
be a very good option for some people who are a little bit afraid, who are, I'm not going to the edge of calling them agoraphobic, but it's almost like if they're a little bit afraid of novelty. Maybe this is the first international trip. We don't know. And so it's
Mhm.
actually very important that they have this safety net, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people go for what is tried and true. But a lot of people, after being over here for 2, 3 days, and once they realize how friendly Portuguese people are, how accommodating we are as well, that we are a very safe country to be and to visit, and how easy it is to navigate. Yeah, some people would like to explore a little bit more, and a lot of people, they actually have this thing that they do want to come back to explore the things that they left unchecked
Yes.
during their first trip. So this goes back to something that I also have been saying for a few years now. If you stick to the coastal area, you're doing what we call Portugal for beginners. You still have 85, 90% of the country left to
Mhm.
discover. And you can come back to Portugal and you can have a 100% different experience versus what you did the first time around. I know people who came back for second and third trips, and for their second and third trips, they don't even bother going to Lisbon or going
Yeah.
to Porto. So they just stick inland and they do something completely off the beaten path. People who go to the Douro Valley spend a couple of nights over there, but then they go to some of the medieval towns. I've been talking a lot about Trancoso. I've been talking a lot about um, Vila Nova de Foscoa as well, Freixo de Espada à Cinta. Go to the north, go to Lagos do Sabor, very beautiful area. I myself, I want to go there. I have never the opportunity to go there. It's very beautiful. Go to Bragança is also very nice. Spend a night over there. Go to Montalegre on a Friday 13. You're going to have a fantastic experience in Montalegre on Friday 13. That is pretty much guaranteed. So it's amazing. It's we have so much to see and so much to do, but all of this comes from having this connection between the traveler and having them tell us why it is important to tell us a little bit more about yourselves. That's why we actually have one of our rule groups is actually to be specific, because the more
Yep.
specific you are in what you're looking for, the better the assistance that we can provide you with. So that's pretty much it. And I promised 5 minutes. I'm on 10 minutes. So
You know,
I'm just gonna give it a
I,
few final thoughts for you guys. So this was it.
I,
This was
I,
for me. So
I-
final thoughts, Gabriel.
you know, I totally understand. And he said it all. We are tour guides, and when we think we're gonna talk like 5 minutes, when I think I'm gonna talk about the Portuguese stepping into Japan, I ended up talking about, I don't know, Australia, Goa, Oman. I mean, we are tour guides. We love to share, and that's what we are doing here. Well, just to finalize, I think we addressed here many good things and suggestions and tips. Just to say, just to finish, I mean, people actually they don't need to book a guide, but planning through local people is totally different. So even though people don't want to book a guide, it's a good idea to book. Why not a video meeting call? When people they talk with me about yoga for about 30 minutes, what they get in 30 minutes, it's gonna make them save not 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, but days, because I really can help them to find what they are looking for. So just to finish, we are here to help people. We will keep doing this on Portugal Unplugged, on other groups, on Viator, throughout our tours. And that's what I want to say today. And I'm so thankful because we have this chance to talk about this. And because we have so many people who really understand what we are talking about, we are not just trying to sell. We are not just trying to make money on tourists. No, we are trying to make people to immerse themselves, to really get to find what is Portugal. And Portugal, although Portugal is such a tiny country, we have a big heart and we have a big history too. So we have so much more to share with you than what comes on Instagram or whatever, way beyond the beautiful bridges, monuments, caves. So, guys, we are here to help you. Well, and I'm so happy that we run this podcast again, and I hope to talk with you soon, guys.
So final
Well,
thoughts, Lionel?
let me just finalize that. And I say this very often. What I really want is that everyone that comes to Portugal, touring with me or not, goes back home and tells everybody how great experience they had here, how good was the time they've spent here. And that's the issue. I see a lot of people sharing their itineraries, and they might feel they had a great time, but they missed a lot.
Oh,
Other people will go back home and say, yeah, this is not worth it, that it's not worth it, that it's not worth it, because they ended up missing out a lot, or they ended up taking the wrong approach
yep,
to that. And just giving an example about what's going on in many locations, you read the reviews about a lot of locations, and the bad reviews, they are not because the place was bad. In most cases, the bad reviews about getting somewhere, it's because of poor planning or lack of knowledge.
exactly.
And speaking about Sintra, using that example, and I'm going to run 3 tours in Sintra this week again. I ran 3 tours in Sintra last week again, and never step foot in Quinta da Regaleira or the Pena Palace, and I'll stand with my decision. My guests been loving my unique palaces tour over there. But when I read the reviews about Pena Palace or Quinta da Regaleira, they are, in fact, just because of bad planning. People didn't know you need a timed ticket. People didn't know there was no parking. People didn't know that the road was not accessible to rental cars, that kind of stuff. So that information, it's online, but that information, it's information that any local knowledgeable guide will provide immediately. So when people think this is what I want and I just want someone to provide this, well, uh, they think that they want, okay, because they don't know something else, and they end up wanting probably what isn't the best fit for them,
Mm-hmm.
and that happens very often.
Oh, yeah.
So my best advice, and I keep this advice, my best advice is about any place, read the bad reviews, because the bad reviews will tell in general a lot of things that people can say or can check, oh wait, I didn't know about this, I didn't know that there was no parking, I didn't know that the cars could not go there, I didn't know that we needed a time ticket or not. Okay, so when people complain because they didn't know and they went there and things went wrong, well, it's the opportunity for others to learn with someone else's mistakes, reading the bad reviews. Probably there's some useful information over there that the travelers need to be aware of. So this is another advice that I can leave over here. And then just to finalize, location, location, location. Google Maps is your friend, but be careful. If Google Maps tells you that it's a 45-minute drive, it might be a 45-minute drive in optical conditions, but peak hours, rush hours, the 45 minutes can be 2 hours very easily because there is a big amount of traffic. And I felt the difference from Saturday to today. I went to the same location to pick up and drop off guests. And a weekday, the traffic was totally different. So planning the itineraries or the locations based just on what Google Maps says, sometimes there are some little things in between that people don't know and Google Maps doesn't tell you, like traffic jams, bottlenecks, peak hour issues, and that will create a disruption on the original plan. So planning everything at the minute sometimes goes wrong and the whole day ends up being lost. And remember what I've just told earlier. Every day that people are traveling here in Portugal, it's costing easily 500, 600, 700 euros per day, even doing nothing, because it's just the cost of the accommodation and the cost of the airfare that needs to be taken in consideration. So flying here, staying here, but wasting a day, it's pretty much throwing money away.
Yeah.
So my final thoughts, and I extended already a little bit, I'm sorry for that. But I think we have a subject that we can pick again one of these weeks, because
Definitely.
peak season is really starting. I see a lot of people on the roads. In 1 or 2 months, there will be thousands of people probably desperate here and there because their planning wasn't done well. So we are here to help. We are here to give all the possible advices. And once again, if you are planning your trip over here, pick our brains, ask your questions, post on Portugal Unplugged. We will help you replying your questions and trying to give you the best guidance, the best insights for a great experience in Portugal. So I'll see you back next week. From my side, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. And if you have nothing else to add, I'm fine to keep it for next week.
That's pretty
Good
much it.
evening, everyone, guys. Great job. Great job, Vitor. Great job,
Yep.
guys. And see you next week. And for sure, we will bring other issues and other topics to talk about it, because this is what we love to do. We love to talk.
Thank you very much. See you next week, guys.
See you next week.
Bye bye, guys.
Great
See you.
one.
Have a great week ahead.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.